Hi people, welcome to Kat's Intuition. I am Krystal Kat, and in this video I am going to show you or bring to you all of the decks that I feel pull in the Taurean vibe, the Taurus vibe, okay? Not just earthy decks. I mean, I am a Taurus, so this is my favorite category or roundup of decks to do. Whenever they say that Taurians like the finer things in life, it's so true. It's not an understatement at all. So I have different decks here. It's not all about just decks that feel earthy. Excuse me. These are decks that are a bit extra because as Taurians, it's like, give me the bling, give me the indulgence, give me just all of it. I want it all, right? We can be a bit extra in that way. So I have different decks here that kind of represent that in their own way. I was going to put them in categories, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to get into it. I'm just going to pull them out, and then tell you why I picked this to represent the Taurus vibe. So the first deck that I want to show is, let's kind of ease into it. Let's go with Medieval Kat. This deck I have picked for this because these cats are extra. They are very finely dressed. Now, as you see, there's nothing so crazy extra about this deck. It isn't gilded. It doesn't have any gilding on it at all. But, as I was saying, these little guys they're extra, okay? They are dressed extravagantly. Not only are the individual, this is such a pretty death card. Isn't that just gorgeous? Sorry, I'm shaking. Isn't that a gorgeous death card? Oh, I love it. Okay, so also with this deck, it's extra in the way that, look at these borders. Okay, this deck has borders on borders on borders, and I love it. Not only do you have the gold border, but you have this little spiky border that makes me think of like a fancy iron gate. Then you have the little border inside. Then you have these cute ones. Okay, you have these, which to me looks like a little cat with wings, doesn't it? Oh. So we have that border, then that border. So yeah, so borders on borders on borders. Then, not only that, this deck didn't just do pips. It gave you a little window, as I call it. I have a video on this deck where I go in depth with it. And I love this deck so much. I'm calling this the little window because it's like introducing you to pips, but then it gives you extra. And that to me is a Taurean vibe. Also, this deck does feel very earthy to me. So this would have been in a category of just earthy decks. Now, in this collection of decks that I'm showing you, I did not include all of my decks in my collection that I consider to be earthy decks. So I just want to point that out. Like, this is more on the indulgence, more on the extraness of these decks. But you see how finely dressed they are? They care about style. They care about the finer things in life. So that is why, see, it's like him even, it's like he was trying to play dress up. He wanted the nice robes. He wanted, even though it has patch, it still looks fancy. Like it's the fanciest patched up jacket. So, yes. And even the detail in the back, it's not just a black background. See the background? It's not just a black background. It has detail in it. And so, yes, that is why this one made an appearance in my Taurean roundup. Because it's a bit extra. It wants the finer things. Next, I'm going to keep it in the cat theme. This is if you've watched any of my other videos, this is my OG deck. My very first deck ever when I was only a little baby girl. I was 14 when my mother gifted me this deck. And it's just, now in the book, it's been a while since I read the book, but she creates a whole world for these characters. And look at the robes on the magician. Look at how ornate everything about these characters are. They most definitely like the finer things in life. They have headdresses that are ornately gemmed out. They like their bling. She really likes the emeralds, like my emerald here. That's my May birthstone. It's just, look, doesn't this look just so lavish? And like she's laying back and resting, but she's doing it in style. She's got her fancy headdress on. She's got her robes, her gemmed out, jeweled out, blinged out belt, her rings. It's just extravagance. This is a total Taurean deck. Look at the emeralds here, so pretty. This also is a total earth deck for me. This is the element of earth all the way. When I do my zodiac readings, this is usually the ones that I will, or usually the deck that I will use for my earth signs. I mean, look at all of this. Even the lamp is fancy. There is nothing in this deck that isn't fancy. It's, oh, I love it. Don't you think? Don't you see it? Look at her. Look at the high priestess. Oh, I love it. I love it. And even the structures in this deck, it's minimal, but when you do see them, like the columns and things, it is so nice. See, they're not just sitting on some seat. It's ornate. It's just, oh, I love the detail. I love it so much. Even her. She's not even dressed all drab and bleh. She has beautiful bracelet. She has a huge diamond on her finger. She has huge necklaces. It's just, yeah. This totally is a Taurean deck because they like the finer things in life. And it's a total earthy deck. Okay, next up we have the Orion's Animal Tarot. This one falls into the Taurean category. Okay, sorry, I had to pause for just a moment. Okay, so I was saying this deck is extra in the way of design for the deck. This here we have the silver gilding, and I love how the colors are done in this deck. They are not just dark and they're not just bright. The combination come together so beautifully. And to me, this is another very earthy deck. Now, there are other elements, like here, of course, this would totally be a very watery feel, right? But overall, to me, because this is an animal deck, so of course the whale, and there are water animals, but overall, the deck to me totally feels earthy. But that isn't the only reason why I picked it. I just love when decks come with gilded edges. I love when they have foiling on them. I like all the bling. I love how these colors make this deck seem like it's illuminated, and like, look how pretty this is. And while at first glance it almost seems minimalistic, there's so much detail going on in these cards. Here we go for our bulls, our Taurians here. Love that he's the King of Pentacles. The background, again, it's not just a flat color, and I love that. It has like this watercolor galaxy vibe going on behind there. There's these little stars all around. It's just an overall beautifully done deck, in my opinion. So that would be some of the reasons why I chose this to represent the Taurians out there. And please comment below. Let me know your thoughts on these different decks. Do you think that this totally screams Taurus vibes? Not just because they're earthy, but because of the extraness. I love it. Okay, so that was the Orion's Tarot. Oh, something else about this deck. So I don't really read the guidebooks when it's just going over, you know, the typical card meanings. But what I do like is when guidebooks give you actual information about either the art or the cards or what the artist was thinking at the time. And this deck does that. This gives you, and I love facts and trivia and things like that. So this really spikes my interest or my love for this deck even more, because it gives you each animal on the, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Let me collect my words. For each of the majors, the animal represented is outlined for you, and it gives you information on that animal. And then in the minors, they will talk to you about what the animal is and how she feels that it goes along with that card. So I just wanted to put that in there. It's more than just giving deck meanings, and I love that. Here we have the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms. This is new to my library of decks. This, I have yet to do my 10 days of Christmas, 10 days of Krystal, oh my god, my 10 days of Krystal videos. My mother gifted this to me for my birthday. If you haven't heard me talk about it previously, my birthday's on the 10th of May, and on every day leading up to the 10th, starting on the 1st of May, she gifts me one or however many gifts she wants to give me on that day until I get to the 10th, and I just freaking love her for that. So this will be in that video along with other things that she gifted me. The reason why this is here is because look at these backs. First of all, so very detailed, so very extra. There's nothing simple about it. The edges are gilded in this gorgeous matte black, and I don't know if it's supposed to be like this, or maybe my deck just picked up glitter somehow in production, but it's glittery. I absolutely love this deck. I fell in love so quick with this deck. Also, the reason why it's here for being a bit extra is because if you will notice, the bluish or aqua borders are gilded. Let's see if I can pick it up. See how they're gilded? And so are the titles. You probably can't notice the shine, but it's there. They're gilded in this gorgeous soft blue aqua color, and I love it. Oh, these images are not your typical tarot images. Still easy to read, of course. You can see where the artist is coming from with what they chose to do, but I like that it has its own thing going on. Like here is the Nine of Cups. This is a gorgeous Nine of Cups. I love all the detail in these cards. It's so good. Like this is the Three of Swords. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's so good. And the light, the use of light in this deck is beautiful. It's like it's really lighting up. It probably doesn't, again, come across in camera that well, but it's beautiful. The reflection in the water with the little fishies, it's so good. It's so good. The cardstock is really good. I am kind of a cardstock snob. I wish I wasn't. I wish I liked thin decks and it didn't bother me any, but it does. And yeah, so I appreciate this deck for being different, for standing out, for being a bit extra in its design. And so it had to be a part of my Taurean category. Like, look at the light. It is like, it's really lit up. Oh, I just love it so much. All right, so this was the Sacred Kingdoms Tarot. Also, I love the box. The box is even extra. I love this design. I like that it's not one that opens at the bottom. It comes off at the top. But look, even the box is gilded and it's raised. You can feel it. It goes all the way around. It's just, it's so good. I immediately fell in love with this deck. So thankful for it. Okay, now let's talk Soul Cats. This, to me, is a very earthy deck. I think this is the only one that I have in this category that is purely here for an earth, because it's an earthy deck to me. This is, it's not extra. It's not too much. It's perfect. It's just perfect. And I think that that's why I couldn't not talk about it. It's so good, though. I love it so much. I'm a cat person at heart. Oh, look at this moon. I love how it's simplistic, but it gives us the moon symbols in here in such a clever way. I just think it depicts the meanings of the cards so well. So yeah, this one isn't necessarily extra, but it is totally an earthy deck. So that is why Soul Cats was here to represent Taurean vibes. Next up, let's talk Tildwick. Oh my goodness. This deck is so good. I love it. I have the 10th anniversary edition. It came with a little guidebook. This deck, oh, it's one of those that is just, it's too good. It's too good. The gold edges. The back is very detailed and antique looking. I say ancient. Antique looking. And, okay, we are on the inside of a mansion, okay, a castle even, and my mind goes crazy with this deck, just my imagination. I did a video on the Hush Tarot, and the background I see behind that, and this is totally part of that. I mentioned this in there. Look at this. Look at the extravagance. It's not just a bookshelf. Oh, no. It's a wall, ceiling to floor, like wall-to-wall bookcase. So if you don't know about this deck, there are no people, no animals even in this deck, I don't believe. The most you will see is like this, maybe pictures of people, a bust really, but this is all about going through the gardens and the rooms and seeing the gates and the, did I say gardens already? The fixtures and everything that is of this castle. Words, man. Words are tough. Like, look at all of these. I just imagine this was someone's bedroom, and she had all of her perfumes in these beautiful, ornate, very detailed perfume bottles. This could have been their ballroom where they played their music and had lavish dances and balls. And oh, look at that. It's so extravagant. And a Taurus, I cannot talk today. A Taurus totally lived here. They wanted all the nice furniture. They wanted the extravagant gardens. Now this is, like, we're looking at the castle that has been left behind. So that's why it is overgrown and kind of, you know, run down, but you can see the reminiscence of all of that lavishness. Is that a word? Lavishness? It is now. I mean, look at this. Look, just all of the detail. It's extra. This deck is extra. Look at the gardens. Now, this isn't overgrown. It's so good. I love it. It's good. And that is why, for all of its extraness, that is why this is in the Taurean roundup or category. Next up, let's talk Baroque. Oh my gosh. This was my, you know, I never even did my Christmas tarot haul. Ugh, I'm so bad. So bad of keeping up with that. This was my grand finale gift. in my tarot gifts for Christmas that my mother gifted me. I wanted this so much. This deck is so extra as well. We have the gold gilded edges. We have gold gilding backs. Now let me say, I have other decks that are gilded and have gilding on them that I did not put in this category because it's not just that they're gilded. It's that they're gilded plus the artwork, if it gives that thought of, oh, you're extra. And that is what I think about these decks. So not every gilded deck that I own is here for the simple fact that, like, take the Macabre Tarot, for example. That deck is gilded, but it's actually very minimalistic when you look at the art, like on the cards. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. So you're not thinking like, oh, just because it's gilded. No, it fits a feeling for me. And look, also the way they're dressed, or all the gold. See the wands? I mean, they're all golded out. They're not just sticks or regular wands. It's so good to me, and I really love this deck too. It holds a special place in my heart because ever since I was little, I have had nightmares only. And there's a whole story behind it, but I don't want to go down a rabbit hole and get sidetracked, so I'll just keep it short and simple in saying that I've always had nightmares. And to me, this deck, because of the way it's drawn, you can't really see their faces, and things are kind of in this blurry type of style. It makes me think of a dream world. See the wands again, they're so ornate and different. Each one is different. They have their own details. All that gold, oh, it's like they were dipped in gold, and it's just so good. Also, the titles are gilded, and the numbers up top on them are gilded as well. See how the faces are not really clear? I'm shaking. I have paint on my hands. My daughter and I were doing art projects earlier today. See the castle behind them? This deck is just extra. Even our sneaky little man here has got his little fancy tights on. See the nice, beautiful columns, and even the horse is done up. It's just, look at the heart. Oh my God. Oh, I love it so much. I love this Three of Swords. I am one of those who, I guess I'm the odd one out. I love a simple heart with the three swords in it. I just do. For me, it's like, it's iconic. I absolutely love the depiction of a heart with the three swords. It has so much meaning to me. I think it's beautiful. I think it's the perfect depiction of the Three of Swords. Like, it's, I know a lot of people have issues with it because they're like, swords are the mind and heart is an emotional thing, and I have a lot of thoughts on that, like a lot. I'm all for that, like the heart with the swords through it. It's just so good to me. See, we have a crown up here, very just drenched in gold, and it's so beautiful. We have hints of sunflowers down here, and I know a lot of people too do not like seeing sunflowers in the sun card, and for me, I absolutely freaking love it. Did you know that sunflowers were actually, or have been actually planted in places where they need to get rid of a lot of toxins in the earth or in the environment? They actually suck up all the toxins, like in sites like Chernobyl and things like that. I didn't even know that about sunflowers there for a while. They suck up all the toxins. I thought that was very interesting, and it really gave me a grand appreciation for sunflowers that I did not used to have. Okay, so this was the Baroque I was going to say table. I just can't talk today. Tarot. Just listen to what I mean and not what I say, and we'll be good. So let's move on to a deck that isn't gilded, and this is the Deviant Moon Borderless Edition. This deck, as I said, not gilded, has no gilding on it. I do like the skinny size, feel to this card. I like that it's skinny. I actually like that in decks when they're more long than your typical tarot size. Okay, so anyways, moving on. The reason this is here in my Taurean category is because they are extra. They look like they have the same seamstress as the Medieval Cats tarot. I mean, look at how finely dressed these weirdos are. Okay, so I say that and then I get a dragon and like naked beings. Come on now. Look at him. Got his fancy little pocket watch. It's trimmed in gold. Okay, seriously? This would happen. See her dress? It's not just like a flat color. It has little details on it. So good. You can see the stitch work. She has her toenails painted. I mean, yeah, they're extra. Look at his getup. Now, I know he's a king, but still, he extra. And look at this. How extra do you have to be to not put your painting that you're working on an easel? No. He's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not basic. Somebody's going to hold up my painting the entire time I'm doing it. And so this person back here is holding up their canvas as he paints. That's extra. Even these children down here with their crazy hats and their fabrics of purple and bright reds and gold colors. And yeah, it's just, I feel like they are extra. He's got two different shoes on. He couldn't pick just one. He wanted to be double time extra with his little robotic self and his high heels. See, this too. Can they just set up a table? No, they cannot. They're going to have somebody hold up that table, Queen of Hearts and Alice in Wonderland style, because they're extra. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this setup. His work room or workspace or craft room, workshop is extra. This is very rude. He's making that tree bleed. I don't appreciate it. Step away from the trees. So yeah, can he just have like two hands? No, he's got to have a whole bunch. This is a very crazy, out of this world deck. But yeah, they also fit. I mean, look at his balloon head thing. This deck is insane. It's crazy. It is just crazy. It's crazy. So that is why the Deviant Moon and all of its extraness has made the Taurean category. Okay, now this one, I don't even know the name of it. It's just tarot. This was also gifted to me by my mother. So nowhere on here does it actually have a name of the deck. It just says, I guess, the company? I don't really know. But this deck, now I do actually want to gild this, edge this in black. I just think it'll look so good. We have these gorgeous black backs with these stars and the moon and this. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect and it's beautiful and I love it so much. This is a pip deck, but it's not just a pip deck. It's extra. She extra. And I love it. So, even though we have all this gilding here, we do not lose any of the details in this deck. So here's what I'm talking about. See how it's a pip, but they still add the twinkly stars and they give you like a cute little image in the middle. And I love that. See, for instance, this one, the 10 of Pentacles. It's not just 10 little pentacles on there. They give you these little danglies. Oh my God, I love danglies, dangly earrings, which mainly I wear my hoops, but we have the moon phases down here. It's so good in my opinion. None of the integrity of their faces are lost in all this gilding. It's so good. See, 2 of Cups here, but we have this extraness that's also drawn in there. See, you can still see their little faces. So again, none of the integrity is lost in the minute details. It probably will be hard to see those details due to the so much of the gilding on the camera, but it's so good. Here we have the Eight of Cups, so gorgeous. We have different little stars shining on the top cups up here. The center, all of this, the little blingies, the little stars. Oh, I just think it's so good. Getting a lot of cups right now, aren't we? Cups and pentacles. It's so good. And again, this one is here in the Taurean category because of that gilding, because of that bling. And yes, give me all the bling. I want it. I want the gilded. I want the thick cardstock. I want to feel like I'm holding something substantial in my hand. I want the shininess. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. That's probably why when I work in my tarot bullet journal or any of my bullet journals, oh, I go crazy with my glitter pens, even if it's just black. I just want the glitter, the shine, the shimmer. So what do you guys think of this one? Isn't it pretty? I love the extra details on these pip cards. Oh, it's so pretty. I really love this one. So this deck is great for intuitive readers. I'm a very intuitive reader, and so there's not really much there to influence your reading. It's purely intuition and what comes to you, and you can really listen to those messages that come through. And these cards are the perfect rose petal cards. I haven't even mentioned that, like the cardstock style on the other decks. I'm sorry, but this one, it'll make my mouth water. It is so good, and it's the perfect rose petal cardstock, I said, because see, isn't this beautiful? All of this going on, it's just, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I feel like it's simple, but in an elegant way, is because, or what I was saying was, they don't stick, like, at all. I do not riffle shuffle my cards. I feel like that's too much of a strain on such a glorious tool of mine. I only overhand shuffle, and none of these cards stick. But if you do want to bridge and riffle, I do think that you could break these in like really easily. So yeah, they don't stick, they don't clump, they are the perfect rose petal. Okay, up next, let's talk Tarot of the Enchanted Garden. Ooh, okay, so this is one of those decks that I really like. It pulls up like that, and in here we get the little extra images in like this pinky color. So cute. So cute. Okay, the reason that this deck has made it, here are the backs. The backs are actually quite simple. They're okay. I'm not crazy about the backs, but I feel like they should have been like way florally or something since it's the Enchanted Garden, but that's just personal preference. Okay, the art. That is why this made it. That is why I say that this one is extra. I love the artwork in this deck. The colors are so good. They're not overly saturated, but they're also not so soft and so pastel-y that you can't see them, right? You totally get all the blues, all the pinks, all the greens. I love it. And they really pull in all the colors together in such a great way. Here we have greens and pinks and reds and oranges, and it doesn't clash. They all look so good, and I really do love that. See his mane? Look at the detail in his mane. It's gorgeous. Look at the backgrounds. They're all the swirls, and I think maybe I like this even more because it kind of reminds me of how I draw. I do like a lot of swirlies, and I'm very pointy with my drawings, and this deck is very pointy. It's one of the first things I told my mother. I was like, look how pointy it is. That may sound weird, but if you know, you know. It's like some art is very round and soft, and you know, and this one I would say is totally pointy. Look at this here with the butterflies, how pointy they are. I just love it. All of the detail. Look at this sleek little cute snake. I love the snake in here. And then I'll show you something about the borders in a moment. See his staff? It's not just a staff, it's extra. See the background? Oh my God, I love it. It is gorgeous. And you don't have any crazy titles. They're just very simplistic down at the bottom. It's very easy to see what the suits are. Wands and the 5 of Wands. We have the Pentacles up here, and it's the 10 of Pentacles. Like, it's really easy to see. And I really, really do like how they left it very minimalistic. Even in the majors here, you can totally get that this is what the card is without having the titles. Just look at the detail. I love it. So yeah, so I just really appreciate this deck for the artwork. It's all extra, and that is why it made it into this category. So now I wanted to show you what the borders do that I think was pretty cute, a cute little something extra. So when you lay them down, they actually go together. Do you see that? And not just the sides. What I mean is they match up perfectly to continue on. It also does it on the bottom and the top. I'm shaking this hard. See how they just line up? So yeah, you see that? I thought that that was a cute extra little touch. Attention to detail here is something that I really appreciate. So this deck is extra in the way that it's drawn, the style of art, plus the little extra detail of being able to put the borders not just side by side, but in all directions. So that is the beautiful extra Enchanted Garden. I haven't even been saying who these are by. I'm sorry. This is a Los Scarabeo deck, and oh my goodness, they really stepped it up. They stepped it up with this card stock. One of the things that I hate about Los Scarabeo decks is the thin, flimsy card stock. This is not. This is good. I'm proud of them. Good job, guys. Good job. Next up, let's talk Bohemian Gothic. Oh, if you know, you know with this deck. Woo! You know what I really want from theirs? I really, really, really want the Alice in Wonderland deck. Okay, this deck is nothing short of extra. The backs, I feel the backs could have been done better. This kind of feels like a flop. Does it feel like a flop to you? Kind of does. I mean, I like the backs, but I just, again, I feel like it could have been done better. I would have really loved it if this deck was gilded. I think that would have been so perfect. But the use of light in this deck is perfect. It's just like the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms that I was talking about, how they use light in that deck so well. And the extra part about this is the way that the cards are, I want to say spot gilded, but that's not the right word. It's, oh my goodness, I cannot find my words. It has that silver foil. It's foiled in a specific way, like all over the card. See? Finally, that's what I was looking for to show you. So, I won't do that to every card because that'll get pretty annoying. Let's see if this one will pick it up. See how the entire card is, see that? So that adds just so much depth to these cards. I mean, it looks like you could just stick your hand in there and grab something out. This deck also has a huge sense of humor. This deck could be seen as like a horror deck or a creepy deck, you know, things like that, a darker deck. But I feel like because this is their world, it's the norm to them, right? It's normal. They don't see themselves as creepy. And so there's a lot of humor in here, at least for me. I love the extravagance. They're lavishly dressed. You see like a shadow lurking behind her. It's so dramatic. Look at this king here. And look at her face looking at that picture. I mean, she totally looks like, oh, I told them to take this picture down and they didn't. The nerve, right? And to me, she's like, no, I don't like the cards. Draw new ones. I don't like this reading. See the 7 of Pentacles here? I love it. Look how tranquil this picture looks here. Oh, you can see the reflection in the water. It's really good. The detail, as the boat is going, you can see the little flames on the candles, the wind blowing them. It's so good. Look at her. brightly dressed in her blue, yellows, and reds. It's so good. Look at the light. Look, they did a magnificent job with the depth in this deck. This is a pretty severe card there. Look at that side eye. She totally looks like what I came out here and the bird was like that. I didn't do it. I didn't hurt the bird. I mean, look at her face. Look at her face. Guilty. You're guilty, ma'am. Get away from the birds. Even her face is like, I didn't just get back from doing something I shouldn't have been doing. Anyway, so this is the Bohemian Gothic, and it is every bit extra. We are almost done. Here we have the gold foil tarot. The box is really pretty. Love the back, and it's gilded in this beautiful gold, so extra already because it's got that bling. It's got the bling on the inside. I love the texture of the box. It's very different. I love it. On the inside here, we have that same gilding that we have in the back, so lots of detail there. I really appreciate that. They give you a little message here. Look at the backs. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me set these aside. Look at the backs. Just look at them. It's beautiful. I love the browning of the edges. Let me see. Oh. It's so good. It's so good. Now, this is a heavy deck. This is a pretty heavy deck. It feels heavier than most. We do have this beautiful matte black edging for this deck. This is like, I don't know what it's specifically called, but it's kind of like that plasticky feel, but good. I really like it. Now, another thing why this is so extra is the backgrounds, the way they do them are different. This deck is so extra with all of the gold. It is everywhere. And another thing about this deck is even though there's so much gilding and bling going on, it doesn't lose any of its integrity, like in the faces of the characters. You can really see all the detail in their faces. Look at the sky around our moon here. See how it kind of gives you like that star that bursts out, and it almost looks like ripples. And see, it's so good. Again, I won't do that for every card. I just wanted to show you that in each card there is extraness. Here I believe we have the star background. Yeah, I mean, oh, come on. It's so good. It's so good. It's so extra. And so much great detail. I don't know why, I just feel like if you add gilding to so much, or you add so much gold, or whatever this is, that type of, you know, when you move the image you see different things, whatever that is, I just feel like in my mind I would think, no, that won't work for cards because they'll lose the detail in like the faces. But no, here's a different type of background. I know I said I wouldn't do this for every card, but they're different, so I just wanted to show you. See? Even here on the tree, they put detail. Oh gosh, I love it so much. Obviously, it's just, you know, a lighter weight clone, so this would be great for beginners. Absolutely perfect. See, and this is kind of like not a star, but almost a flower burst. It's so good. So good, so extra. Look at this one. It's like a dark background, but we have that same burst, that image. And the shuffling of this deck is so nice. It actually doesn't make that sound. Even on the black in the background, you can see. So yeah. because of all of this one's gold and extraness and backgrounds, that is why this, without a doubt, made the Taurean category, because it's extra. No doubt. Extra. I know I said I wasn't going to do every card, but it's kind of like the whole point, right? of this being in this category. Not just the golding, not just all the gold, but also, I mean, that's just cool. So they are, because of the material that these cards are made out of, they are quite slippery, but I don't have a problem shuffling them. See, and they don't make that horrible sound that, like when you scratch, that kind of, that sound, it doesn't make that sound when you shuffle it, so that's perfect. Just a few more. Here, going to the Crow Tarot. This is also very new to my practice. This was gifted to me also by my mom. Look here, the backs. Okay, the reason why this is in, there's no gilding, it's not a shiny deck, totally an earth deck, even though I would also put this with element of air, obviously because of the birds, but it also feels earthy. It could be the colors and the tones that were used, but it does feel earthy to me, as well as the air. So this one is extra because of the texture, because of the detail put into the cards. It's not just solid backgrounds. Everything has like this texture to it. By texture, I mean like if you were doing something on Photoshop and you used a texture in the brush that you were using to make the art, right? There's so much going on, so many details, so many little things that you can see. Oh my God, my mother was making me laugh. She sees things that I don't think anyone else would see. I was just handing her cards. I was like, okay, what do you see in this one? What do you see in that one? She's like, oh, I see a face here, and I see a little man here, and I see I see a butterfly here. And I'm like, what? I feel like I can see a lot of images that aren't necessarily there, but she was, whew, yeah, she was on a roll. Anyway, so you see all the swirls, and you see the textures in the background and all of the details. That is why this deck is a total Taurean deck, because it is a bit extra. And by a bit, I mean very. Very, very. Look at all the swirlies in the background and the nest and the little skull here and the two birds and the cage and the clouds and the moons. And it's just, it's a lot. It is a lot. It's got like a little tie that looks like a fish to me. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it looks like a fish to me. And that would be cute. Look at him. Look at him being extra, getting other feathers and putting it in there. So, yeah. That is the Crow Tarot, and that is why I picked it for the Taurean category. Okay. Let's talk about this big boy right here. Okay. The front is gilded in gold. Very, very nice. I love, this is one of my most favorite color combos is red and black, so this deck is everything. Even the book has like that spot glossing where it's raised and you can feel it. It's sideways. So it's extra. Even in the guidebook is not your typical, like, you know, this orientation of guidebook. The other reason why this deck is extra is because of the pure sheer size of this. Look at my hand. I don't have big hands, but still, I mean, look at that. That's huge. It's it's crazy big. So not only is it extra in size, look at these backgrounds. This the backs of the cards, spot glossed in black. I love black on black. It's so pretty. You can probably hear my cat screaming in the background. It isn't gilded. I wish it was. The fronts are also gilded in red, the borders. See? Oh, it's so good. So, for all of those reasons, as I mentioned, the box and the size and the gilding and even the artwork. Oh my goodness. And I believe 4 or 5 artists came together to do this deck. So it's extra in all kinds of ways. The artwork goes so well. This is such a cohesive deck, being that there were multiple artists involved. And what I love about this is this is from the game, and they didn't just get pictures from the game and just plop it on a card. No, they actually drew this artwork for these cards. As in, they drew this to represent Judgment, this for the Knight of Swords. And I really do like that a good deck makes. So see, I mean, it is just so extra. This is not minimalistic art at all. Love the cohesiveness, as I have mentioned. It's very dramatic, very dark. I love, though, that they made it fancy feeling, though, right? With the gilding on the front and the super cool backs. I just love it. So, yeah. So, size, gilding, artwork, number of people that went into this deck. This is why it is a must-have in a Taurean category. I love this deck, by the way. Okay, let's talk Goliath Tarot. This is a wonderful, wonderful deck. It is gilded in a beautiful matte black. The backs are not quite black. They are I really don't even know what color, like a brownish black with green undertones. Love our moth, love the design. This deck is extra because it comes as the tarot deck, but it also gives you many extra cards that can be used as oracle cards, or you can shuffle them into your tarot deck. I don't shuffle cards into my tarot, but I will use these alongside the tarot. The cardstock on this deck is amazing. I absolutely love it. Now, I will say that this is a deck, this is my only rose petal matte cardstock that clumps. This deck is really bad with the clumping, unfortunately, but I am hoping that that'll get better the more I use it. So as you see here, we have black borders and white borders for the artwork. That continues on also in the, put these over here, in the tarot deck as well. So the borders here, again, being extra, they don't just give you, or the artist, Goliath, doesn't just give you the name of the deck. He also gives you like a little key, not really a keyword, but a key phrase. So the 8 of Pentacles is the Patient Weaver. And if you look at his artwork, ooh, it's so good. It's very detailed. And to me, this isn't just another animal deck. It's deeper than that. It's just more. The 4 of Wands, the Beaming Vessel. I'm pulling out only the ones with, see, there's one with a white border. This is the 6 of Swords, the Brand New Journey. Look at the detail in this card, though. So that is why this is here, because it is extra. It's extra in the titles. It's extra in the, the borders. The whites are being shy. Oh, there it is. There's the white border. This moon is so simplistic, but the art is very detailed. You get me? Like all of the shading. I was going to say shadowing. All of the shading, all of the light that's used, the negative space that he left. It's really good. The silver shadow reflector is the key phrase for the moon. The depth is so well done. He did just such a great job. He really did a great job on this deck. I'm sure many do not like the visual on that, but you see what I mean by it's not just another animal deck? Or I don't know, maybe you feel like, yeah, it is. It's just animals. But for me, this just feels like more. It feels heavy and deep and impactful. And I know that a lot will see this as maybe a dark deck. I don't. It feels uplifting. It feels beautiful. It doesn't feel like this dark, brooding, negative deck to me. So this is the El Goliath Tarot and Oracle. And those are the reasons why I have chosen this for the Taurean collection. Okay, this one and one more, and then we will be finished. This is a Silver Acorn Tarot. This was love at first sight. As soon as I saw this deck, I just knew I had to have my hands on it. This is like a Halloween-y themed deck. It's extra. The box is extra. All of this silver gilding. It's so ornately done. I love everything about this deck. So the inside here is done. The beautifully done font here. It is not a gilded deck, but it has like a shine to it. It's not a stark white. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can. Again, there's no gilding or anything, but this deck doesn't need it to be extra. Look at, this is a border on border on border too, right? We have the little edging, or the little corners with the little face and the acorn. All the stars. Love the purple in here. Purple is one of my favorite colors. Like black is my favorite color, but for colors, yes, purple is definitely one of them. I'm very picky with the shade of purple though. But this gives me Over the Garden Wall vibes. I would think it has a lot to do with the vegetable people. The pumpkin, especially the ones with the pumpkin heads. Look at this artwork though. The artwork is also extra. This is amazing. The detail that went into each individual card. I mean, I just feel so very lucky to own this deck. Look at all the detail here in our Four of Wands. You can just feel that nothing was skimped over here. No, they didn't think, oh, let me just quickly go through this. Like, you can see the time and effort that was put into these images, and I just absolutely love it. I love the use of color. It's colorful, right? We have many colors going on here, but they're the perfect shade of color that gives you that darker feel, right? See the little pumpkin head guy? Love him. The bats. Oh my gosh. I am in love with the bats in this deck. It's so beautiful. Look at that shade of purple. It's so good. It's so good. See, very pippish, but done in a wonderful way. Love our little chariot. Here we have another pumpkin head guy for the emperor. Again, look at the colors. A beautiful sunset. Makes me think of my daughter. My daughter absolutely loves sunsets. She's 6 and she has always been in love with sunsets ever since she was tiny. Look at our mermaid here. Look at the face on our skull. Oh my gosh, look at her hair. The detail, the ship in her hair. Ship. Let me articulate that. The ship in her hair. We have a little starfish. Look at her cup. It's ornately done. Oh, it's just, look at the pearls all over her. She is adorned in pearls. I am crazy in love with this deck. It's beautiful. Let me know your thoughts on this. Do you have it? Do you love it? Do you want it? Is it just so amazing? Do you think it's so amazing like I do? Like, oh, look at this 5. He looks so sad. Oh gosh. And the owls in this deck too are so good. And of course, the cats. I have a black cat. Black cats will always have a special place in my heart. I love them so much. This is the sweetest death card. It's so good. He's doing like a little dance because he's so happy that the little poppy flowers are growing. It doesn't say that in the book. That's just me. Love that there's rain. Oh my God. See the background. It's so good. And also, I love that they have incorporated any symbols, whether it be like the zodiacal sign or planetary signs, they put them in there. See here, they're hidden. They're not just like overpowering to where that's what you go to. It's there if you want that symbol to be there, right? I love on his shirt here, we have the hourglass. See the symbol here? It's just, the symbol here is on his staff. It's so good. There is absolutely not one thing I dislike about this deck. It's perfect in every way. How gorgeous this is. How happy. It's I only have good things. Look at strawberry head. Look at the bat. Look at the bat. Oh, the eyes. It's so pretty. It's the prettiest star. See, the symbols are in the crown. So again, they're there, but in such a beautifully discreet way. And I just appreciate this deck. It's so good. Okay, so that was the Silver Acorn, a deck that I am crazy in love with. I love everything about it, and it's done on beautiful cardstock. It is quite slippery, but it's on linen cardstock, so you know you have that beautiful, beautiful shuffle experience. Okay, we are finally on our last deck, and I had to end with this one. This is my beautiful, gorgeous, number 2. This is only number 2 in line to my Tarot of the Cat People, because Tarot of the Cat People was my very first deck, and she will always be number 1 to me. Okay, so cardstock. Oh my goodness. If I could have every deck done in this thick, thick cardstock, I would be in heaven. It is gilded. This is black on black on black. It's so beautiful. We have the matte black edges. The backgrounds are absolutely gorgeous. We have that black, can you call it gilding? That shininess, see it? It's not silver. It may look silver on camera, but it isn't. It's that black shiny on a black background. You would think that you wouldn't be able to see it that well, but you can. It's just gorgeous. Makes my mouth water. This deck could be considered a pip deck, I suppose. I am in love with this deck. This deck is perfection. There's nothing I would change about it. The cardstock is so luxurious. It's so good. I love a thick cardstock. Again, I like to feel like I have something substantial in my hand. This is what I'm talking about it being pippish. You still see some things going on, but overall, I would say, yeah, it's a pip deck. Which I didn't even really notice that at first when I was reading with it. I was just so in love with it. And then it wasn't until later that I noticed that, I guess this is a pip deck. But anyway, so for the majors in this deck, it's so extra. And if you remember me saying that I love trivia and details and just info, I just constantly want to absorb all the knowledge I can. This, I don't have the guidebook with me, but do you see that spot gloss? That is only going to happen in the majors. And it's not there just for looks. I thought that this, before I had this deck and read the guidebook, I thought it was just there for looks. It isn't. They are actual things. Like here, look at that. That's the constellation behind Justice here. Oh, also, the titles, I love that they are gilded. I mean, yes, shiny, gilded. So they're not boom in your face with the titles, and I love that so much. I appreciate that because they're there if you need it to be there, but if not, you just intuitively read, or I mean, it's very easy to see what each card is, but I just love that the titles are there if you need them, but they're not in your face. So really, really appreciate that. So in the book, it tells you about the card, and it also tells you what the shiny image is behind the cards. Again, it's only on the majors. Love this 3 of Swords. It's so good. But you see, these cards or this deck is very extra, even though it's minimalistic, because everything is done so beautifully. We have those hints of gold in there. See the gold coming off. The figures here seem otherworldly. It's just so beautiful. Look at his armor. This is the Knight of Cups. Look at how ornate he is in all of his gold. He's just dripping in gold. Look at that gold apple. And the page, oh, it's so good. Look at this Two of Cups. There is nothing to not like in this deck. I absolutely love it. The gold, the light, it looks like it's illuminated. The camera isn't even doing this justice. See the light coming down here on our two little fishies. And that gold that's even, look at the reflection of the water. So the light is bouncing off of these gold fish going through the water of these cups. And so you have this beautiful golden watery reflection on the bottom. This, it looks like it's lit up. It's so freaking good. This, as I said, is one of my top decks. I am in love. I have been in love ever since I first held it in my hands. Just love at first sight. And the way that this deck comes to you, the way it's wrapped, it feels like a gift. It feels like something extra. See here in the Lovers, it is, see all that in the background? And again, the artist goes into explaining exactly what that is. Look at how beautiful, all the detail in those little teeny tiny flowers. I love it. It's so good. See here with Judgment. It's right here, the shininess. There it is. Oh, look. Isn't this like the prettiest devil card you've ever seen? See all the sparklies around? Look at how all the chains that are draped and the beautiful ornate crown and the wings and extra arms here. It's so good. And this is also done on magnificent rose petal cardstock, but it's so good because it doesn't clump. I don't have an issue with this deck or these cards clumping. See over her head here. Love this Temperance. Like the Fool. So yeah, all of that is actual images. It's not just there for pretty. Oh my god, this is, oh, look at this Hermit. This deck does have a very sexy Hermit and a sexy Death card. I've said that from go. So good. They're so impactful. It may seem minimalistic, but you can, or at least I get so much out of this deck. It is, it's top notch. This is a luxury deck. This is, it's just top of the line luxury. And this is the deck that we are going to end on here. See the sunflowers here? I just, oh god, like for reasons I said earlier about it, taking away all those toxins, I have just such a newfound love for sunflowers. They've never been really my flower of choice. There's no mistaking that they just seem like the happiest flower ever, right? But because I like the more darker side of things, it's just never been my flower of choice. But once I found that out, oh my gosh, I'm in love with sunflowers. There's no denying that they are so happy looking and they actually serve a purpose. This moon just, oh my gosh. Okay, this is one of my most favorite strength cards. Look at our huge snake down here. Oh my gosh. It's just, it's mouth-watering good. This deck is, it's decadence, it's luxury, it's perfection. Look how thick this deck is too. That speaks to the thickness of the cards. It's so good. And they don't clump together. I'm sure you could riffle shuffle this deck. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine doing that to this deck. But yeah, I think you could break it in. If you wanted to riffle and bridge shuffle this deck, I think you would be able to. So that is, I do believe, unless I'm missing one, that is the last deck for the Taurean Vibe collection I wanted to bring to you guys. I will be doing a Taurean Vibe Oracle collection video after this one as well. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about the decks I have shown? Okay, so a little impromptu voiceover here. I have no idea how the last part of my video was cut or lost or deleted or not recorded. I have no idea. But I am very thankful and lucky that it was just the outro that seemed to get lost somehow. So I didn't want to just abruptly end it. And also, I would like to turn this into a hashtag because I am one proud Taurus. So let's do hashtag Taurus U Extra. How about it? Show me all your luxurious decks that give you that scrumptious Taurus vibe. All right? Thank you so much for watching, for joining me, for the love, for the support. I love each and every comment. And as always, nothing but love. Bye.